What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Medical Sales Live. I'm your host, Omar MKT. We got a good one today. And let me unmute myself over on Zoom. All right, perfect. Hey, everyone. So today's episode, we're going to be covering a very interesting topic, which is the featured section. Okay. So we're going to cover the feature section for a couple reasons, because if you think about your personal profile, it's like a website. So if somebody lands on there, there's a chance that they may not come back. So how do we optimize that, whether you're fundraising as a CEO or you're a salesperson? So that's what we're going to be covering. And as usual, LinkedIn, I don't know if I'm live on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, once again, likes, I think they know at this point that I do this show on Thursday, and they just look for ways to really piss me off. Hold on one second, everybody. So while I'm doing this, for those who are on Zoom, go ahead and drop in the chat where you're joining in from. Okay. All right. Yep. Something is up, my friends. Give me 1 second. I promise you all, if I could prevent this from happening, I would. I really would, but I can't. Don't blame me. Blame the technology. And actually, this always works well, because don't blame me. Blame the technology. Well, I'm live on YouTube. But what the hell's going on with LinkedIn? All right. We're gonna have to start over. Oh, well, for some reason, LinkedIn is working. Okay, never mind. LinkedIn is live. Okay, for some reason, LinkedIn is working right now. Let me just, so, hey, Tata, coming in from Long Beach. What's going on? All right. Yeah, so while everybody files in, we're going to get started right quick, but I just want to see what's going on. Why is the event not showing up on my phone? Unless LinkedIn was smart. Well, that's kind of a reach there. There's a lot of smart people working at LinkedIn. LinkedIn as in general, though. Let's see. All right. Well, for some reason, it's showing that I'm live on LinkedIn, and I see the comments, even though I'm not seeing. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, can you drop a comment? Can you guys, whoever's on LinkedIn, can you drop a comment? I see a few, so it shows that it should be that LinkedIn is live, but then I'm not seeing it on my end for some reason. So yeah, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, just drop a comment. I see you live. Okay, I'm gonna guess that's Gabby, actually, because Gabby's really good about helping me with this stuff. Man, all right. Something's up. All right, so let's get started. Let me make my make the banner. So turning your featured section into a sales machine or fundraising. All right, so let's cover the topic of the day. So how do you turn your feature section into a sales machine or fundraising machine? Right. So if you think about your profile, right? Most important thing, make sure your profile is open and public, right? And just like a website, right? If you're in marketing, you'll understand this. When you spend money, whether it's on a webinar or a conference or a post, whatever it might be, and you drive somebody to your website, that might be the one and only time you have to persuade them. That's the key, right? And persuasion happens at a variety of different levels, but the first level, can anybody guess in the chat, what is the first step to persuasion? First step to persuasion. I want to see it. Whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Zoom, can someone give me what do I harp on all the time? There we go. And of course, the Mac, the original gangster, Mike Moore, of course, called it, which is you need attention. You cannot persuade unless you have attention, right? And so let's walk through what that looks like. And I'm gonna share my screen right now. So for those who are on Zoom, I'm gonna go off camera so that my system doesn't crash, right? I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. And for those who are on LinkedIn, we're gonna look at a few profiles, CEOs, salespeople, consultants, and I'm gonna keep going through a theme to really drill it down as to how this all works. And now I can see my live on LinkedIn. I have no idea what the issue is. Okay. So again, if you're enjoying this stream on LinkedIn or YouTube, hey, do me a favor, hit that emoji button. Just keep slamming it. I really like to see I like to see like a rainbow of colors popping out from the bottom right. So make sure to do that. Okay. So let me share my screen here. So over on Zoom, here we go. I'm going to share the screen. And over on LinkedIn, here we go. Sharing the screen now. Okay. All right. So we should be live. You should be able to see my screen. And if I can, I'm just going to give it 1 second. All right. So there we go. Look at how cool that is. So let's zoom in here. So we're going to start with my profile. Okay. So when somebody lands here, right, the main thing they're going to see is what? This headline. This is very important because this is a cue. This is setting up the sale, right? Which is helping med reps grow pipeline with social media, right? So whatever you do, for example, let's look at Marone. Marone's the CEO of a very interesting brain chip company, pioneering a new category of brain-computer interfaces designed for humans, right? Very clear. Okay, let's look at Gaida. Gaida's been killing it. If you don't, I mean, follow her on LinkedIn, but you should also follow her Instagram. She's a great Instagram. A lot of inspirational stuff. Helping spine surgeons by being innovative in leveraging extensive knowledge of products and services, right? Very clear. Let's look at Vincent, another guy in the program, helping endovascular MDs deliver greater, more consistent clinical success with innovative techniques. That's a little bit more broad. And the reason for that is that, Vincent carries a lot of things in his bag. Okay. And let's go finally with Michael Verdon, right? One of our resident surgeons. That's right. Michael Verdon is a practicing spine surgeon, but also an entrepreneur, spine surgeon using machine learning to transform patient symptoms into triage and predictive analytics and diagnostics. Okay. Now let's go one by one. So for those of you who are consultants, if you consult with medical device, forget medical device. If you consult, you have a service where you're selling your advice, right? Or you have a product to sell. This is what happens. Someone lands on you. What are they going to do? They're going to scroll down, right? And the first thing they're going to hit is the featured section. Now, the most important thing is the 3 that are seen. Okay. Now, are there other things in my featured section? Yeah, I put other things. I put other posts. I have, you can subscribe to my newsletter. But the first 3, very important, and the order of them is going to, you can always experiment, but there are 3 right there. Now, what do I have for my first 3? Number 1, I have my funnel. So this is very specific to how I make money. So people come through here, and the way I can improve this. So let's talk about how I can improve. First of all, this is good. I have some social proof here. So 53 likes, 16 comments. This is probably going to get someone's attention. But keep in mind when we look at these things. So on desktop, this is what it looks like. But if you'd like, you can go on mobile and go see a featured section there. On the featured section on mobile, you can only see one thing, right? So for me, I used to have something else. This used to be second. I want to optimize for sales and getting people in the funnel. So the first thing that you see on mobile is this image, and it says, in medical sales, watch this free webinar training, how to influence physicians and grow pipeline at scale. So when you click the link, when you click this, it goes to the post, they click over and they watch a my webinar. And I would say that in terms of conversions, I think close to 10 or 15% of my revenue comes from this one image. Okay. Now, what are the other two things you should put, right? As a consultant, social proof. So this one, has a very clear headline, right? So I put medical sales reps in surgery are not going away. When they click this, they're going to watch this video. But again, what stands out on mobile or desktop is social proof. When you see something has 700 likes, doesn't matter what it is, they're going to click this. Okay, this has been clicked a lot. And then the last thing I put is the death of medical sales igniting a new future. Okay, now this is an article. It's a very in-depth article. And again, let's just click this so you can see what it looks like. So somebody clicks that, they go straight to what? This article. So somebody's reading this article, and based on their level of awareness, right? So somebody who's clicked this article, they may not be aware of my product or service or anything, but they're being indoctrinated into my worldview. I'm talking about medical sales. I'm gaining a lot of trust and authority with them, right? And if they get to the very bottom of this article, right, there is a link, right? And the link is to go and watch my free webinar. Now, here's the question that I often get asked. Omar, who the hell's going to read all of this? It's so long. You're right, it is long. But the key here is that the people who read this all the way to the end are the people who end up buying. Okay, so again, what do I sell? I have a program for CEOs and salespeople called the Medical Sales Network Effects Program, and it's an expensive course. It's in the thousands of dollars. So my sales calls, I don't have any sales calls. They are all closing calls. I don't sell on those calls because the selling is done here online without me talking to somebody, because somebody might read through this, right? And they might jump to, oh, wow, there's a lot of, physicians publishing on social media. I should probably get on it. Or they might read something down here, right? I don't know what's going to persuade somebody. Maybe they see these graphics, right? I can't guess, but if I allow them to persuade themselves, that makes it a lot easier. Does that make sense? And it looks like it makes sense to people. I'm just checking the comments. For those who are on LinkedIn, I can't, let me pan over. Okay. So I just want to check the comments. Okay. So that's what you do as a consultant, right? And again, let's go back just to be very, very clear about this. Okay. Again, your featured section. Okay. And you should not, I repeat, you should not be screwing around with the featured section if you don't have content. Okay. Now, how do you get this featured section? It's very, very easy. Okay. You have to look under your resources, and there's this thing called creator mode. Okay. If you go to creator mode and you turn it on, that allows you to have a featured section. Okay. And then when it comes to adding things in your featured section, if you click this little plus button, right, now you can add a post, a newsletter, an article, a link, a media. Now, here's the thing, boys and girls. I know a lot of you are going to get tempted. Oh, let me put a link to my website. Don't do it. Do not do it, because think about it. Even if LinkedIn allows that, I mean, they do allow it. But when someone clicks this, you're taking the risk that, is your page going to load on time? Once they land on the website, they have to spend all this. Give them exactly what they want, right? And if you really want something like your website, you can put a link up here. See where it says, watch a free med sales webinar? The way you can edit that is if you click this little pencil button up here, right? Then you can scroll down, see where it says website, put link text, and then put a link. Do not just put a link and leave this blank, because then it's just going to show a link. You have to put some kind of call to action, right? So Now let's go to a couple of examples. So these are people who I've worked with one-on-one or gone through my program. So we're going to look at Ann Ostuit and Jeffrey Alvarez. These are both leaders in the surgical robotic space, and I'm going to show you what they do. So Ann, she's the CEO at Moon. Um, I've she hasn't changed this, and Ann, I love you, but you should have a headline to be more specific, right, as to who you help, but that's okay for now. But when you go to her features section, what do you see? The first thing is the most important thing, which is a video about their company. Second thing, some social proof and authority. It's this MedTech strategist article. And then the third thing, her article about the company, right? Again, if you're an investor, you're being indoctrinated here, getting exposure to the company, right? Because imagine this does not exist. Very few people are going to land on here. They're going to scroll around. Then they're going to say, okay, where do they work? They're going to come to Moon Search. They're going to click on that. It's too many steps. Get them to the point that they need to be at. Let's look at Jeffrey Alvarez. Okay. So Jeff, Chief Strategy Officer at Moon Surgical. Okay. Great photo. That shows a lot of good authority. When you scroll down, okay, what does he have? He has 3 startup lessons from my early days at Oris. So for him, he's focusing on gaining authority by showing like, hey, I was part of the early team at Oris, right? This is what we learned, everything. But then same thing, MedTech strategist article, and then a piece where, an authority piece where it shows him speaking at a conference, right? Okay. And then as you go, you'll see other pieces of content. But the key is, I created this program. I got to tell you, I did a pretty good job with this graphic. We got surgery, fighter pilot in the background. But the key is like, what's the first thing that's here? Okay. Now let's look at a few other people. Okay. Here's the CEO, Maron Gribetz, his company's pioneering a new category of brain-computer interfaces. Very exciting company called Intercosmos. Okay. Now, great setup. Look, right now, what he has, this article. Let's click on this article. Okay, so this article is his first article of a series, a brain chip that humanity actually needs. And it talks about brain chips. It talks about his company, where things are positioned, etc. And of course, like, at the end, he has a bit of a call to action. It's like, hey, if you're interested, let's talk, right? So because right now they are raising money. Well, if you're a startup, you're always raising money, right? So that's a great piece. His second piece. Whoops, let me go back. Here we go. Second piece that he has. What is it accomplishing? It's a Bloomberg article. So that's what? That's an authority bias, right? Okay, this guy's in Bloomberg, right? That's an authority bias. But then you have 219 likes. You have social proof behind this, right? And then some other pieces, like, again, really nice video of him posted on LinkedIn, another post here, okay? Great, okay? We're going to go through a couple more people. Gaida Loveras. Now, Gaida's got a very unique position because she doesn't work exactly for a MedTech company. She works through a distributorship, right? So she doesn't need to post anything about the companies. What does she post about? Self-development, leadership, right? So look, 105 likes, 56, 49, right? And again, this is a very controversial post, right? But it tells you a lot about her character, right? Her leadership, what she's about. And this persuades somebody. So of course, who is she trying to persuade? Aside from physicians, it's, companies that might want to, work through her and her distributorship, right? Couple more, right? So for somebody who's in sales, who works at a distributorship, or not a distributorship, I'm sorry, who works full time for a MedTech company. So Vincent works for Philips. Okay, again, great call, great headline. It's very clear. He calls it out. Identity statement. Here's who I work with, right? And then if we scroll down, he's got a piece that highlights a case that his customer did. A lot of social proof there. Same thing. So he focuses a lot here on clinical stuff. I think this is good. My one feedback to Vincent is to have something that's a little bit more personal to him. So he's a cyclist. Have something there. The key here is differentiation, right? But again, he leads with the right thing. And then I'll go 2 more. So Michael Verdon, again, practicing spine surgeon, but he has a startup focused on machine learning. So very interesting startup. They take simple patient symptoms and then convert them into predictive diagnostics. So when you go down, right, if he's raising seed money, etc., what does he have? A lot of authority bias down here. So again, his talk on using precision spine care using artificial intelligence, his HIT lab event, right, and then a clinical post, right. So that's how you need to think about the featured section. And then Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot here just because I think you probably have something pretty good. I'm going to go to Mike Moore. So Mike Moore is an executive recruiter in the digital health and MedTech space. If you're not following, you have to. He's got a great podcast. Okay. So then when we scroll down, right, what Mike Moore does, because again, Mike Moore doesn't have like a specific product. Like he's an executive search consultant. So he doesn't have to put anything product or service related here. What he needs to do, and he's doing it the smart way, and I think this is what, whether you're a recruiter or a consultant, you need to do, is stack as much social proof behind you as possible. Because if you put social proof, you've automatically in someone's mind position yourself as a thought leader. And then those are the people who get to charge more money, pick the clients they work with. So of course, if you look at his posts, right, so there's a thought leadership post. His observation on the chief commercial officer role, 43 likes, 27 comments, right? The mass exodus of top talent, 765 likes. And then this one, which personally, I've seen a lot of posts on LinkedIn from a lot of people outside of this industry. I've never seen this ratio, 5,888 likes. And the reason why that is worth making a remark about is that Mike's got 19,000 followers. So more than 25% of his network. And of course, there's a huge amount of people outside the network who've liked this. Mike, if I was you, the one thing I would advise is that since a lot of people are on mobile, I would take advantage of this real estate. I would move this over to the first spot, because when somebody's here, you want them to engage to see that. So Mike, my advice to you, put this post with 5,888 likes, man, that thing, I don't think it would, I would have to see a really convincing post to tell me to move it out of the number one spot. I would put that there. And then the second thing, Mike, I would put your podcast, because your podcast is a fantastic top of funnel piece of content, right? So those are the main things I would focus on. So that being said, let me come back. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And as you guys know, I have a baby, so I'm being called. Give me 1 second. I'm going to step away for 1 second. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see. Hopefully we get some questions and comments. I'll be right back. All right, now I got that taken care of. Let's see what questions and comments we got about the feature section. So let's take a look. Mike Moore's making the adjustments right now. And Tim, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. You'll be getting your question. So any questions about the featured section? Those are the main things that I would focus on. All right, let's see. Questions on LinkedIn and YouTube. All right, looks like everybody's good. Okay, well, that being said, on LinkedIn and YouTube, I'm going to sign off. For those who are in my program and on the Zoom call, I'm going to be coming to you and taking more private questions next. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you all next week.